I got fired in front of 100 people, and the only man who could have stopped it just stood there watching. The ballroom lights burned my skin as my boss slammed the folder onto the table. You ruined $1 million event, Emily. You are done. My throat closed. I did everything right. I checked every vendor. Every detail. But the screens glitched, the sponsors walked out, and suddenly it was all my fault. I heard the whispers. She is incompetent. Who even hired her? I stood there, frozen, humiliated, trying to breathe. Then I saw him. Alexander Reed. My assigned bodyguard. 6 feet away. Hands behind his back. Expression blank. Like none of this mattered. Like I did not matter. I swallowed the burn in my chest. Say something, I whispered, barely audible. He did not move. Not a step. Not a word. My boss pointed at the exit. Get out. And that was it. No defense. No explanation. Just public humiliation, clean and final. I turned. Walked past the crowd. Each step heavier than the last. I should have hated him. I did hate him. Because he watched me fall, and let it happen. I reached the hallway. Quiet. Cold. Empty. My hand hit the wall just to stay upright. This is over, I told myself. My career. My reputation. Everything. Then a voice behind me. Low. Controlled. You should not have left. I froze. Slowly turned. He was there. Closer now. Too close. Eyes sharp. Different. Not a bodyguard. Not just a bodyguard. My heart skipped, wrong and fast. You watched me get destroyed, I said. My voice shook, but I did not look away. Why? He stepped forward. 1 inch. Enough to corner me without touching. His voice dropped. Because you needed to fall first. My breath caught. That was not an apology. That was something else. Something colder. Something planned. And before I could ask anything else, he added quietly, now they think you are nothing. A pause. Then, good. Why would the only man assigned to protect me want everyone to believe I am nothing? He wanted me to fall, and somehow that scared me more than being humiliated. I stared at Alexander, my chest tight, my mind racing to catch up. You planned this? I asked. My voice came out sharper than I expected. He did not deny it. He did not soften. I allowed it, he said, calm, controlled. Like ruining my life was just another decision on his schedule. Anger hit me fast. Hot. You had no right. I stepped closer, even though every instinct told me to back away. You are supposed to protect me. His eyes dropped to mine, steady, unreadable. I am. The way he said it made my stomach twist. Not reassuring. Not comforting. Just, final. Like I was missing something important. I shook my head. I just lost everything. He did not react. Not even a flicker. No, he said. You lost what they wanted you to have. That made no sense. And I was too tired, too hurt to play whatever game he was running. I turned, ready to leave him there, to walk out of whatever this was. We are done, I said. I do not need a bodyguard anymore. That should have ended it. It should have been my choice. His hand caught my wrist. Firm. Not rough. But unbreakable. I froze. My pulse jumped. That is not your decision, he said quietly. I looked down at his hand, then back up at him. Let go. He did not. Instead, he reached into his jacket with his free hand and pulled out a sealed envelope. Thick. Official. He pressed it into my palm. Your next assignment, he said. I blinked. I was just fired. No, he replied, voice low. You were moved. My fingers tightened around the envelope before I could stop myself. Everything in me said, do not open it. Walk away. But I did anyway. Inside was a contract. My name printed clean at the top. A new role. Higher clearance. Triple the salary. My breath caught. What is this? I whispered. Alexander stepped closer, close enough that I could feel the shift in the air. From now on, he said, you work directly under me. My heart slammed once, hard. Under him? A bodyguard does not assign contracts. A bodyguard does not move people around like this. So who exactly was the man standing in front of me, and why did it feel like I had just walked straight into something I could not escape? He said I work under him, but nothing about him made sense anymore. I kept staring at the contract in my hands like it might rewrite itself if I blinked. Triple the salary. Executive clearance. Direct report to Alexander Reed. My pulse would not slow down. You are a bodyguard, I said, forcing the words out. You do not get to reassign me. He did not even flinch. Sign it. Just that. No explanation. No justification. Like my life was already decided. Something in me snapped. I shoved the contract back into his chest. No, my voice was sharp now. Solid. I am not your employee. I am not your project. And I am definitely not signing anything you refuse to explain. For the first time, his expression shifted. Not softer. Worse. Focused. He took the contract back slowly, eyes never leaving mine. You think this is optional? He asked. The air changed. Tight. Heavy. I swallowed but did not step back. I know it is, I shot back. Because you still have not told me who you really are. Silence. Then he moved. One step forward. I felt it before I processed it. The pressure. The control. He stopped just inches away. Close enough to make it impossible to ignore him. You want the truth, he said quietly. My heart jumped. Yes. No. I did not know anymore. But I held his gaze. Then earn it. That was not an answer. That was a challenge. Before I could react, my phone buzzed in my hand. Sharp. Urgent. I glanced down. Unknown number. One message. A photo. My breath dropped. It was me. From tonight. The moment I got humiliated. Frozen on screen. And below it, a single line, we can make this worse. I felt the blood drain from my face. My fingers tightened around the phone. What is this? I whispered. Alexander did not even look surprised. That scared me more than the message. His voice was calm. Too calm. That, he said, is why you do not get to walk away. My heart started racing again. Not from fear alone. From the realization hitting hard and fast. He knew this was coming. Which meant, this was never just about protecting me. So what exactly did I just get pulled into? He already knew I was going to be targeted, and he still let me walk straight into it. My fingers tightened around my phone, the image still burning on the screen. My humiliation. Captured. Weaponized. You knew, I said, my voice low, unsteady. You knew this was coming. Alexander did not deny it. He did not even look away. Yes. Just that. My chest tightened. Anger surged again, sharper this time. Then why did you not stop it? I demanded. Why let them destroy me first? His answer came without hesitation. Because now they showed their hand. That did not comfort me. That made it worse. I took a step back, shaking my head. You used me. The words tasted bitter. You let me take the hit so you could see who was behind it. His jaw tightened just slightly. The first crack I had seen. I protected you from the part that matters, he said. Your reputation can be rebuilt. Your life cannot. My breath caught. That line landed harder than I expected. But I refused to let it pull me in. Not yet. You do not get to decide what matters to me, I shot back. My heart was still racing. Fear and anger tangled together. I lifted the phone again. So what now? They send threats, and I just stay under your control? He stepped closer. Slow. Deliberate. The space between us disappeared again. You stay alive, he said quietly. That word hit different. Alive. Not safe. Not okay. Alive. My stomach dropped. This was bigger than a scandal. Bigger than a ruined event. I exhaled slowly, trying to steady myself. Then tell me who they are. I held his gaze. Tell me who is coming after me. Silence stretched for a second too long. Then he spoke. Not yet. My chest tightened again. Of course. Another wall. Another secret. I almost laughed. So I am just supposed to trust you? His eyes locked onto mine. Cold. Certain. No, he said. A beat. Then, quieter, heavier. You are supposed to listen. My phone buzzed again in my hand. Another message. Another image loading. I looked down, and this time, it was not just me. It was me, standing next to Alexander. Taken seconds ago. From somewhere we could not see. My pulse spiked. Someone was watching us right now. I lifted my eyes slowly back to him. Tell me this is not what it looks like, I whispered. He did not answer right away. His gaze shifted past me. Over my shoulder. Focused. Calculating. And that was the moment I realized, whoever was behind this was not just threatening me anymore. They were watching him too. Someone was watching. Us in real time, and Alexander did not look surprised. His gaze stayed fixed over my shoulder, sharp, calculating. I did not turn. I did not want to see it. Say something, I whispered, my voice tight. Tell me we are not being watched right now. He stepped closer instead. One hand moved to my arm. Firm. Grounding. Do not react, he said under his breath. My pulse spiked anyway. Too late. I was already reacting. How am I supposed not to react? I snapped, quieter but breaking. They just sent me a photo of us from seconds ago. His grip tightened slightly. Not to hurt. To steady. Then they want you scared, he said. Do not give them that. Easy for him to say. He was not the one being turned into a target overnight. Or maybe he was. That thought hit me fast. Wrong. I forced myself to breathe slower. To think. Where? I asked. Where are they? His eyes shifted again, scanning. Across the street. 3rd floor. East corner. My stomach dropped. He saw them. Like it was nothing. Like this was normal for him. That was not normal. Nothing about him was normal. We need to leave, I said. Instinct kicked in hard now. I reached for the door behind me. He stopped me instantly. One hand against the wall. Blocking my path without touching me. No, he said. Calm. Final. Running makes you predictable. I stared at him. Standing here makes me a target. You already are one. That landed cold. I clenched my jaw. Then what is your plan? He did not answer right away. Instead, he pulled his phone out, typed something quickly, then slipped it back into his pocket. We wait, he said. Wait? My heart was already racing too fast. For what? I demanded. His eyes met mine again. Steady. Controlled. For them to make a mistake. Before I could argue, headlights flashed across the hallway windows. A black SUV pulled up outside. Too fast. Too precise. My breath caught. That is not normal, I said. Alexander did not look at the car. He was still watching me. No, he agreed quietly. It is not. The back door of the SUV opened. And suddenly, I understood something I was not ready to accept. This was not just someone watching me anymore. This was someone coming for me. And the worst part? Alexander did not look surprised. He looked ready. The car door opened, and Alexander still did not move. That was what terrified me most. Not the black SUV. Not the fact that someone just pulled up like they owned the street. Him. Standing there like this was expected. Like this was already handled. My voice came out low, tight. Tell me that is not for me. He looked at me, steady, unshaken. Stay behind me. That was not an answer. That was a command. My stomach dropped. I did not argue this time. My feet moved on their own, stepping closer behind him. Close enough to feel the heat of his back. Close enough to realize how easily he placed himself between me and everything else. The SUV door closed. Footsteps. Slow. Measured. Someone was walking toward us. I held my breath. My fingers curled into my palms. This is real. This is happening. Alexander, I whispered, barely holding it together. What did you pull me into? He did not turn. Something that was already coming for you. That answer hit wrong. Like I had been standing in the path long before I knew it. The footsteps stopped just outside the glass doors. A man in a dark suit. Calm. Too calm. He did not look like a threat. That made him worse. My pulse slammed harder. The man glanced at me briefly, then back to Alexander. And then, he nodded. Not aggressive. Not hostile. Respectful. My breath caught. That was not how this was supposed to go. Alexander stepped forward, just slightly. Enough to shift the space. Control it. You are early, he said. His tone changed. Colder. Sharper. Not the same voice he used with me. The man gave a small smile. Things moved faster than expected. My confusion spiked. This was not an attack. This was a meeting. I looked between them, trying to understand. What is going on? I asked, my voice breaking through the tension. Neither of them answered me. That was worse than anything. Alexander turned his head just enough to glance back at me. His voice dropped again. Low. Controlled. This is where you stop asking questions. My chest tightened. Anger flared again. No, I said, stepping forward despite everything. You do not get to shut me out after dragging me into this. The man in the suit watched me now. Carefully. Interested. And then he said something that made the ground shift under my feet. So she does not know? Silence. Heavy. Immediate. I felt it before I understood it. My eyes snapped to Alexander. Know what? I asked. My voice was no longer steady. His jaw tightened. Just slightly. And that was the first real crack I had seen. Alexander, I said, quieter now. What am I not supposed to know? No what? I asked, and the silence that followed told me everything was about to change. Alexander did not answer. Not immediately. That was the problem. That hesitation. That crack. The man in the suit exhaled like he had just realized something inconvenient. This is unexpected, he said, glancing between us. My chest tightened. Stop talking around me, I snapped. I am standing right here. Alexander finally turned fully toward me. His expression was different now. Not cold. Not distant. Controlled, but heavier. Emily, he said, low, warning. I shook my head. No. You do not get to do that. Not now. My heart was pounding too fast. Too loud. You dragged me into this. You tell me what I am missing. The man in the suit watched quietly. Waiting. Like this moment mattered more than anything else. Alexander's jaw tightened again. Then he made a decision. I saw it happen. Subtle. Final. You are under my protection, he said. My breath caught. That was not new. That was not enough. I already know that, I said sharply. Try again. His eyes held mine. Steady. Unmoving. And that protection does not come from a bodyguard. The words hit, but they did not land yet. Not fully. My mind tried to catch up. Failed. Then what are you? I asked. Quiet now. Careful. He did not answer me. He looked past me instead. At the man in the suit. We are done here, Alexander said coldly. The shift was immediate. Authority. Control. The man hesitated. Just for a second. Then nodded. Of course. He turned and walked away. Just like that. No resistance. No argument. My stomach twisted. That was not how people treated a bodyguard. That was how they treated someone above them. I turned back to Alexander slowly. My pulse was still racing. But now it was not just fear. It was something else. Something sharper. They listened to you, I said. My voice dropped. Why? He did not answer. Again. My frustration snapped. Who are you? I demanded. This time, he stepped closer instead of stepping away. Closing the distance completely. His voice lowered. Just for me. The only reason you're still standing here, he said. My breath caught. That was not an explanation. That was a warning. And suddenly, I realized something I should have seen from the beginning. This was never about me being assigned a bodyguard. This was about me being placed under someone who was pretending to be one. And the real question was not who he worked for. It was, what did someone like him want with someone like me? I should have walked away the moment I realized he was not just a bodyguard, but I did not. That was my mistake. I stared at Alexander, my heart still racing from everything he had not said. You are not going to tell me, are you? I asked. My voice came out quieter now. Controlled. He did not answer. That was his answer. Something inside me shut down. Clean. Final. Fine, I said, stepping back. Then whatever this is. I am out. I turned before he could respond. This time, I did not wait for him to stop me. I walked straight past him, out of the building, into the cold night air. My chest felt tight, but I kept moving. I needed space. Distance. Control. I pulled my phone out, already dialing the only person I could think of. Megan, I stopped mid-sentence. Across the street. Parked under a streetlight. The same black SUV. Still there. Still watching. My pulse spiked again. No. I shook my head. This was not coincidence. I turned slightly, pretending not to notice, but my eyes stayed on it. The windows were tinted. Too dark. I could not see inside. My grip tightened around my phone. "Megan," I said quickly, forcing my voice steady. "If anything happens, you call the police, okay?" "Emily, what is going on?" she asked, confused. I did not answer. Because I did not know how to explain this without sounding insane. I hung up. My breath came faster now. Think. Move. I started walking faster down the sidewalk. 1 block. Then 2. The sound came a second later. An engine. Low. Controlled. Following. I did not need to look back. I knew. My chest tightened hard. This is not happening. I muttered under my breath. But it was. The car kept pace. Not speeding up. Not backing off. Just there. Watching. Waiting. My steps turned sharper. Faster. I turned the corner. Another block. My pulse was too loud now. Too fast. And then, a hand caught my arm. I gasped, instinct kicking in, my body twisting to pull away. "Relax." His voice. Low. Controlled. Too familiar. "Alexander." I sucked in a breath, half relief, half anger. "You said I should not run," I snapped. "So why does it feel like I am being hunted?" His eyes flicked past me toward the street. Sharp. Focused. "Because you are," he said. My stomach dropped. He did not soften it. Did not rephrase it. Just truth. Cold and direct. I shook my head, panic rising again. "Then do something." He did not answer right away. His grip on my arm tightened slightly. Not to restrain. To anchor. Then he pulled me closer, stepping between me and the street again. Blocking the view. Blocking them. His voice dropped. Lower than before. "I am." My breath caught. Because for the first time, I realized something worse than being followed. He was not reacting. He was controlling this. And if he was controlling it, then how much of this was actually out of his hands? He said he was controlling this, and that was exactly what I could not accept. My heart was still racing as I stared at him, standing between me and the street like a wall I could not get around. "Controlling?" I repeated, my voice tight. "You call this control?" "I am being followed." His eyes did not leave mine. "And you are still standing," he said. Calm. Measured. Like that was proof enough. It was not. It was not even close. "You let them get this far," I shot back. "You let them watch me, threaten me, chase me. I let them reveal themselves," he cut in. Sharp. Final. The words hit hard, but they did not comfort me. They made my chest tighten even more. "At my expense," I said. Quiet now. Bitter. For a second, something flickered in his expression. Gone too fast to read. "You were never unprotected," he said. That line again. Protection. Control. Decisions made without me. My hands curled into fists. "You keep saying that like it means something," I snapped. "But all I see is you making choices for me without asking." Silence. Heavy. Then he moved. Not away. Closer. His hand lifted, brushing past my shoulder, not touching, but enough to shift my attention. "Look," he said quietly. I turned before I could stop myself. The black SUV was still there. Engine running. Waiting. But now, there was another car. Parked behind it. Lights off. Dark. Still. I frowned, confusion cutting through the fear. What am I looking at? I asked. His voice dropped, colder than before. The mistake they just made. My pulse stuttered. The SUV doors opened. 2 men stepped out. Not rushing. Not hiding. Confident. Too confident. My breath caught. Alexander, I started, tension spiking again. He did not look at them. He was still watching me. Stay here, he said. Not a request. A command. I grabbed his sleeve before he could step away. Do not do that, I said quickly. Do not leave me here again. His gaze dropped to my hand. Then back to my face. Something shifted. Subtle. Dangerous. You are not alone, he said. And for the first time. I was not sure if that was a promise. Or a warning. Because if he was not just protecting me, then what exactly was he about to do next? 2 men stepped out of the SUV, and Alexander looked at them like he had been waiting for this exact moment. My grip on his sleeve tightened. Do not go, I said, my voice sharper than I intended. I did not care anymore. Fear was louder now. Real. Immediate. He glanced down at my hand, then back at my face. Stay where I put you, he said quietly. That word again. Put. Like I was something to be positioned, not someone to be asked. Anger flared, but it collided with something worse. The way he was looking at them. Not cautious. Not defensive. Certain. Like this was already decided. Alexander, I pressed, my voice dropping, what are you about to do? He did not answer. He stepped forward anyway. Out of my reach. Into the open. My breath caught. The men approached him. No rush. No hesitation. One of them spoke first. You made us wait, he said, calm but edged. Alexander stopped a few feet away. His posture shifted again. Not protective. Not reactive. Dominant. You came early, he replied. My pulse pounded in my ears. This was not an ambush. This was not random. This was arranged. I took a step forward before I could stop myself. Alexander, he lifted a hand slightly. Not toward them. Toward me. A silent command. Stay. I froze. My heart slammed harder. The second man glanced past him. At me. His expression changed. Curious. Calculating. So she is the one, he said. That line cut through everything. I felt it. Immediate. Personal. My stomach dropped. The first man smirked faintly. She does not look like much. The words hit like a slap. Humiliation, sharp and familiar. My hands clenched. I should have spoken. Defended myself. But I did not. Because Alexander moved first. Just a step. Just enough. But the air shifted instantly. Careful, he said, his voice colder than I had ever heard it. Not loud. Not aggressive. Worse. Controlled. Final. The smirk faded. Just like that. Silence fell between them. Heavy. Measured. My breath caught. That was not how someone talked to strangers. That was how someone talked to people beneath him. I stared at his back, my mind racing to catch up. He was not just handling this. He was leading it. And suddenly, everything clicked into place in a way I was not ready for. I took another step forward, my voice barely steady. Alexander, what did you just do? He did not turn around. He did not look back at me. But his next words changed everything. I ended the part where they think they can touch you. My breath caught. Because that was not a bodyguard's job. That was something else entirely. And if he had just drawn that line, then what exactly did that make him? He said he ended it, like he had the power to decide who gets to touch my life and who does not. I stood there, frozen, watching the two men step back without another word. No argument. No threat. Just compliance. The SUV door shut. Engine started. Gone. Just like that. My breath came out slow, uneven. That was not normal, I said. My voice felt distant, like it did not belong to me anymore. Alexander did not respond right away. He turned back toward me instead. Calm. Controlled. Like nothing had just happened. That made it worse. You talk to them like they answer to you, I said, stepping closer. Who were they? His eyes held. Mine. People who made the wrong move. That was not an answer. That was a warning. My chest tightened again. And you just handled it? I pressed. Just like that? He did not deny it. For now, he said. For now. The words echoed in my head. This was not over. Not even close. I let out a sharp breath. You keep saying things like that, I said, my voice low, frustrated. Like I am supposed to just accept it. Like I am supposed to trust you without knowing anything. He stepped closer. The distance disappeared again. You do not have to trust me, he said. My heart skipped. That was new. My brows pulled together. Then what do I have to do? I asked. His gaze dropped briefly, then came back up. Steady. Intent. Stay where I can reach you. My breath caught. That line hit differently. Not control. Not exactly. Something else. Something that made my chest tighten in a way I did not want to examine. I shook it off quickly. That is not an explanation, I said. That is not even close. Silence stretched between us. Then my phone buzzed again. I looked down automatically. Another message. No number. No name. Just text this time. You think he can protect you? My stomach dropped. I turned the screen toward him. It is not over, I said quietly. He did not look surprised. Of course he did not. His jaw tightened slightly. The first real sign of tension. No, he said. My pulse picked up again. Then what happens next? I asked. His eyes locked onto mine. Cold. Certain. Now, he said, they stop testing you, and start testing me. My breath caught. Because if they were done playing with me, that meant something much worse was about to begin. They were done testing me, which meant I was no longer useful to them. That realization hit harder than anything else. I stood there staring at my phone, the message still glowing on the screen. You think he can protect you? My chest tightened. Because for the first time, I was not sure what scared me more. Them, or him. Say something, I said, my voice low, strained. Tell me what happens when they stop playing games. Alexander did not answer right away. That silence again. Heavy. Calculated. Then he turned slightly, scanning the street like he was already 3 steps ahead. You go home, he said. My head snapped up. That is your plan? I shot back. After everything that just happened? He met my gaze. Calm. Unmoved. You disappear for a while, he said. Stay off the grid. No patterns. No routine. My pulse spiked again. That is not disappearing, I said. That is hiding. He did not correct me. That was the problem. Temporary, he added. Like that made it better. It did not. I shook my head, backing up a step. No, I said. I am not running because someone decided to turn my life into a target. His eyes sharpened slightly. This is not about pride. It is about control, I cut in. Yours. Silence snapped between us. Tense. Sharp. Then he moved. Fast. Not aggressive. But decisive. Closing the distance again before I could step away. You think this is about control? He said quietly. His voice dropped, colder than before. This is about keeping you alive long enough to understand what you are in. That line hit deep. Too deep. My breath caught. But I refused to back down. Then explain it, I said. Explain what I am in. He looked at me for a long second. Measuring. Deciding. Then, his phone buzzed. He glanced down. Just once. And for the first time since all of this started, his expression changed. Not controlled. Not calm. Tight. My stomach dropped instantly. What? I asked. My voice came out sharp. What is it? He did not answer me. He stepped past me instead, already moving. We do not have time, he said. My pulse slammed. For what? I demanded, following him. He stopped just long enough to look back at me. And this time, there was no distance in his voice. No calm. Just urgency. They are not coming for you anymore, he said. My breath caught. Then who? He cut me off. They are coming for your name. My heart stopped. Because that did not even make sense. Not yet. And the worst part? The way he said it, like everything I thought I was about to be taken away. They are coming for your name, and I did not even know what that meant until it was already happening. I followed Alexander without thinking, my steps fast, uneven, trying to keep up with him as he moved like he had already seen this play out before. Explain that, I demanded, my voice tight. What do you mean my name? He did not slow down. Your identity, he said. Your records. Your access. Everything tied to who you are. My stomach dropped. That was not possible. No, I said immediately. You cannot just erase someone like that. He glanced back at me, sharp. You can, if you know where to hit. That answer hit harder than I expected. Because he said it like he knew exactly how. We reached the car. Not the black SUV. A different one. Sleek. Waiting. He opened the door without hesitation. Get in. I stopped just short of it. My chest tight. My mind racing. No, I said. Not until you tell me what is going on. His patience snapped. Not loudly. But I felt it. Emily, he said, my name low, controlled, this is not the moment to negotiate. Then make it one, I shot back. My heart was pounding too fast now. Because I am not getting into a car with someone who keeps changing the rules. Silence. Tense. Sharp. Then he stepped closer. Close enough that I could not ignore him even if I wanted to. You think I am the one changing things, he said quietly. You have already been erased from 2 systems in the last 5 minutes. My breath caught. That was not possible. My hand moved automatically to my phone. I pulled up my company account. Error. Access denied. My pulse spiked. No. No, I checked my email. Gone. My employee profile. Gone. My stomach dropped so fast it made me dizzy. That is not, I stopped. Because it was. It was happening. Right now. I looked up at him, my voice barely holding together. How do you even know that? His eyes held mine. Steady. Certain. Because I am the reason it is not worse yet. My breath caught again. That was not comfort. That was control. I shook my head, stepping back slightly. You are not helping me, I said. You are just ahead of everything. His expression hardened. Get in the car. My pulse was too loud now. Too fast. Or what? I challenged. He did not hesitate this time. Not even for a second. Or you lose more than your name. That line hit deep. Immediate. Final. My fingers tightened around my phone. Because if they could erase me this fast, then what else could they take? And why did it feel like Alexander was the only one who already knew the answer? I should have walked away, but the moment my name started disappearing, walking away stopped being an option. My fingers tightened around my phone as I stared at the screen. Error. Access denied. Every system. Every account. Gone. My chest felt tight, like the ground under me had just shifted without warning. I looked up at Alexander, my voice lower now, less defiant, more real. Fix it, I said. Not a request. Not anymore. If you are so far ahead of this, then fix it. His expression did not change. Get in the car. That answer hit wrong. I shook my head immediately. No. You do not get to keep giving orders like that and expect me to follow them. My pulse was still racing, but something else was building under it now. Frustration. Control slipping. You said you can stop this from getting worse, I pressed. So do it. He stepped closer. Not fast. Not forceful. Just enough to shift the space again. I am doing it, he said quietly. My breath caught. Because he did not sound like he was trying to convince me. He sounded like he was stating a fact I had not caught up to yet. I clenched my jaw. Then explain it, I said. Explain how erasing me is somehow part of protecting me. Silence stretched between us. Then, his phone buzzed again. He glanced down. Just once. That same shift. Tight. Controlled, but sharper now. Emily, he said, his voice lower than before, this is your last chance to move before you lose more than access. My stomach dropped. More than access? I repeated. What does that even mean? He held my gaze. Steady. Unwavering. It means they are not just deleting your records anymore. My pulse spiked again. Then what are they doing? I demanded. He did not answer right away. That pause again. That calculation. Then, they are replacing them. My breath caught. That did not make sense. Replacing, with what? His eyes did not leave mine. With someone who is easier to control. The words hit harder than anything before. My chest tightened instantly. Because that was not just about systems anymore. That was about identity. Existence. I took a step back. Without meaning to. You are saying someone else can just become me? My voice came out thin. Unsteady. He did not soften it. If you stay here, he said, yes. Silence. Heavy. Crushing. My fingers trembled slightly around my phone. Because suddenly, this was not about pride. Or control. Or trust. This was about whether I would still exist tomorrow. I looked at the car. Then back at him. My voice dropped, barely above a whisper. If I get in, what happens next? He opened the door again. This time slower. Deliberate. Then you stop being visible, he said. My breath caught. Because that sounded less like protection, and more like disappearing. And I was not sure which one scared me more. I stood there staring at the open car door, and realized I was choosing between disappearing or being erased. My fingers tightened around my phone. My name. My job. My identity, already slipping. If I get in, I said slowly, my voice barely steady, I lose everything. Alexander did not argue. You lose what they can reach, he corrected. That was not better. That was worse. Because it meant there was more they could still take. My chest tightened. I looked past him. The street. The city. Everything that used to feel solid now felt fragile. Replaceable. And if I do not? I asked. He held my gaze. No hesitation. Then they replace you completely. Silence. Heavy. Final. That was it. No third option. No safe ground. Just a choice I was not ready to make. I swallowed hard, forcing myself to breathe through the panic. You are asking me to trust you, I said. My voice cracked slightly, but I did not look away. Without telling me who you are. Without telling me what this is. He stepped closer. Slower this time. Careful. Like he was measuring every inch. I am not asking you to trust me, he said quietly. My heart skipped. Then what are you asking? I whispered. His eyes locked onto mine. Steady. Unavoidable. I am asking you to survive. That landed deeper than anything else. Not trust. Not control. Survival. My chest rose and fell unevenly. Because that was something I understood. Something I could not argue with. I looked at the car again. Open. Waiting. A line I could not uncross once I stepped over it. My hand moved before I fully decided. I reached for the door. Paused. One last second. If I disappear with you, I said, my voice low, I want one thing. His gaze did not shift. Say it. I met his eyes fully now. No hesitation left. No more half-truths. Silence stretched between us. Then, he nodded. Just once. Not soft. Not reassuring. But real. Fine. That should have been enough. It was not. But I stepped in anyway. The door closed behind me with a solid click. Final. The car moved seconds later. Fast. Smooth. Controlled. Just like him. I sat there, staring ahead, my pulse still uneven. Everything outside blurred. Gone. My life, left behind in minutes. I turned slightly, looking at him. Where are we going? I asked. His answer came without hesitation. Somewhere you do not exist. My breath caught. Because that did not sound like protection. That sounded like a reset. And I had no idea what version of me would still be there when we arrived. Somewhere I do not exist, and yet he was sitting right next to me like he knew exactly who I was supposed to become. The car moved fast through the city, lights blurring past the window, everything familiar fading into something distant. I sat rigid, hands in my lap, trying to steady my breathing. You said no more half-truths, I reminded him, my voice tight. So start talking. He did not look at me right away. You were compromised from the moment they targeted your event, he said. My jaw tightened. That is not new information. No, he replied calmly. But who did it is. That caught me. I turned to him. Then tell me. He finally looked at me. Direct. Measured. Someone inside your company. My stomach dropped. That is not possible, I said immediately. I know the people I work with. His expression did not change. You knew the version they let you see. That landed harder than I expected. Because suddenly, every conversation, every face, felt uncertain. I shook my head slightly. Who? I pressed. Who did this to me? He did not answer. Again. My frustration spiked. You said no more half-truths. His gaze held mine. I said no more unnecessary ones. That hit sharp. You deciding what is necessary is the problem, I snapped. Silence. Then he reached into the console and pulled out a tablet. He handed it to me without a word. The screen was already on. Files. Images. Internal logs. My company's system. Accessed. Altered. My name flagged. My breath caught. I scrolled quickly. Too quickly. Trying to process it all at once. Then I saw it. A familiar name. My hand froze. No, I whispered. My chest tightened instantly. That is not, I stopped. Because it was. Megan. My closest friend. The one I just called. The one I trusted. Listed under internal override authorization. My pulse spiked hard. This is wrong, I said, shaking my head. This has to be wrong. Alexander's voice stayed calm. Too calm. It is not. I looked up at him, my voice breaking through the disbelief. She would not do this. He did not soften it. She already did. Silence crashed over me. Heavy. Suffocating. Because if he was right, then everything I thought I had left was already gone. I stared at the screen again, my chest tight, my thoughts unraveling. Then why? I asked quietly. Why would she do this to me? Alexander did not answer right away. Then, finally, because you were never the real target. My breath caught. My head snapped up. Then who was? He held my gaze. Steady. Unavoidable. Me. My heart stopped. Because suddenly, this was never about ruining my life. It was about using me to get to him. And I had just stepped directly into the center of it. It was never about me, and somehow that made everything worse. I stared at Alexander, my mind struggling to catch up with what he just said. Me, I repeated under my breath. My voice felt hollow. You are the target. He did not deny it. He did not soften it. Yes. That single word hit harder than anything else. My chest tightened. Then why am I the one losing everything? I snapped. My voice cracked through the tension, sharp and raw. Why am I the one being erased? His gaze did not move. Because you were the easiest way in. That answer cut deep. Too deep. I shook my head, anger rising fast to cover the sting. So I am just collateral? I asked. Just a convenient way to get to you? Silence. Then, no, the word came low. Controlled. I froze slightly. Something about the way he said it did not match the situation. Then what am I? I pushed, my voice quieter. Now, but more dangerous. He leaned back slightly, just enough to create space. Not distance. Control. You are the variable they did not expect, he said. That did not make sense. Not yet. My brows pulled together. That is not an answer. It is the only one you get right now. There it was again. That wall. That control. My frustration spiked again. You said no more half-truths, I reminded him, my voice tight. And you are still doing it. His eyes darkened slightly. And you are still asking the wrong questions. That hit harder than I expected. I clenched my jaw. Then tell me the right ones. Silence. Then, he shifted. Just slightly. Enough to change the energy again. Ask why they need you gone completely, he said. My breath caught. That line landed different. Slower. Heavier. I looked back down at the tablet in my hands. Megan's name still there. My erased records. My replaced identity. My chest tightened again. Why do they need me gone? I asked quietly. This time, he answered. Because you are already connected to me in a way they cannot control. My heart skipped. Hard. That was new. That was something else entirely. I looked up at him slowly. Connected, how? I asked. My voice barely steady now. He held my gaze. Did not look away. And for the first time, he did not immediately answer. That hesitation hit harder than any reveal. Because whatever that connection was, it was something he had been hiding from me all along. And suddenly, I was not sure if I wanted to hear the truth, or if it would change everything between us. Connected to him, and he still would not tell me how. That was the part one could not let go. I stared at Alexander, my chest tight, my thoughts spinning too fast to keep up. You said I am connected to you, I said, my voice low but steady. In a way they cannot control. He did not deny it. He did not confirm it either. That silence again. I shook my head, frustration rising. Then explain it, I pressed. Because right now it sounds like you are making decisions for me based on something I do not even know exists. He finally moved. Slightly. Enough to shift the space between us again. If I tell you now, he said, you become more dangerous. That made no sense. I am already a target, I shot back. How does knowing the truth make that worse? His eyes locked onto mine. Sharper now. Because right now, they are guessing. My breath caught. That line hit different. Slower. Colder. And if I know? I asked. My voice came out quieter than I expected. Then they stop guessing, he said. Silence fell hard between us. Because that meant the truth was not just information. It was leverage. I looked away for a second, trying to steady myself. So I stay in the dark, I said. And just trust that you are handling everything. No, he replied. I looked back at him instantly. That was new. Then what? I asked. His voice dropped slightly. Controlled. You stay unpredictable. My brows pulled together. By not knowing? He nodded once. By not giving them what they expect. That answer unsettled me more than anything else. Because it meant I was part of his strategy, whether I agreed to it or not. I exhaled slowly, tension building again under my skin. You keep saying I am important to this, I said. That I am the variable they cannot control. I held his gaze. Then stop treating me like I am not worth the truth. Silence. Long measured. Then, he leaned closer. Not enough to touch. Enough to shift everything. You are worth the truth, he said quietly. My heart skipped. Just once. Wrong and fast. Then why does it feel like you are hiding it from me? I asked. He did not answer right away. Then finally, because the moment you hear it, he said, you stop being able to walk away. My breath caught. That was not a warning. That was a line. A point of no return. And suddenly, I realized something that scared me more than anything else so far. I was not sure if I still had the option to walk away, or if I already crossed that line without knowing it. He said I would not be able to walk away, and the worst part was, I already felt it happening. I sat there, silent, staring at him, trying to hold on to something solid. Something that still felt like mine. Then maybe I do not want to hear it, I said finally. My voice was quieter now. Careful. Because if the truth really changed everything, then maybe not. Knowing was the last thing I could still control. His eyes stayed on me. Steady. Unreadable. That is not your decision anymore, he said. That line hit hard. Immediate. My chest tightened. You do not get to decide that, I snapped. Some of the fire came back. Not much. But enough. You keep saying I am important. That I matter in this. But every time I try to take control, you shut it down. Silence. Then, he leaned back slightly. Just enough to give space. Not distance. You are not losing control, he said. You are realizing you never had it. That cut deeper than anything else. Because it felt true. I looked away, jaw tight, trying to steady myself again. The city outside had disappeared completely now. No landmarks. No familiar streets. Just empty roads and dim lights. Where are we? I asked. My voice was lower now. Less resistance. More awareness. Safe distance, he replied. That was not an answer. It never was with him. My fingers tightened slightly in my lap. You said I am connected to you in a way they cannot control, I said slowly. Then why does it feel like you are the one controlling everything? He did not answer right away. Then, because I am the only one trying to keep you alive long enough to understand it. My breath caught again. That word. Alive. It kept coming back. Like everything else was secondary. I swallowed, tension building again under my skin. And when I understand it? I asked. His gaze shifted slightly. Not away. But deeper. Then you choose. My heart skipped. Choose what? I pressed. Silence. Just long enough to matter. Then, whether you stay, he said. My chest tightened instantly. Stay where? I asked. My voice barely steady now. He looked at me fully. No distance left. No avoidance. With me. My breath caught. Because that was not just about safety anymore. That was something else entirely. And I did not know if that was an offer, or a trap. Stay with me, and suddenly, this was no longer just about survival. My chest tightened as his words settled in. Not protection. Not strategy. Something deeper. Something I was not ready to name. I forced myself to breathe, to pull back from whatever that moment was trying to become. You are asking me to choose you, I said. My voice came out steady, but it took effort. Without telling me what that really means. He did not deny it. He did not soften it. Yes. That answer hit harder than anything else. I let out a slow breath, shaking my head slightly. That is not a choice, I said. That is a blind fall. His eyes did not leave mine. Then do not fall, he replied. Step in. That line made no sense, and yet it did. Too much. I looked away first this time, my thoughts moving too fast. You still have not told me who you are, I said. Not really. Silence. Then, he reached forward. Not touching. Just close enough to shift the space again. You already know what I am, he said quietly. My brows pulled together. No, I said immediately. I know what you are not. You are not just a bodyguard. His gaze sharpened slightly. Then stop pretending that is the question. That hit. Because he was right. It was not about his title anymore. It was about the scale. The control. The way people stepped back without being told. I turned back to him slowly. You move people, I said. You erase threats. You control access to systems I did not even know existed. My voice dropped. Who does that? He held my gaze. No hesitation now. Someone who owns the system they are trying to break. My breath caught. That was not vague. That was not deflection. That was a statement. My heart started beating faster again. Not from fear this time. From realization. You are not protecting me from this, I said slowly. You are part of it. He did not deny that either. My chest tightened again. Then why me? I asked. Why am I worth this level of attention? Silence stretched. Longer this time. Then, he leaned in slightly. Close enough that I could not ignore the weight of his words. Because out of everyone they could have used, he said quietly, you are the only one I chose to keep. My breath caught. Hard. That was not strategy. That was something else. Something personal. And suddenly, the choice he was asking me to make did not feel like survival anymore. It felt like stepping into something I might not be able to leave. He chose me, and somehow that made everything more dangerous. My heart was still racing from what he said, the weight of it settling deeper than I wanted to admit. You chose me, I repeated, my voice quieter now. Not accusing. Not yet. Out of everyone. He did not look away. Yes. That answer should have grounded me. It did not. It made my chest tighten instead. That is not protection, I said slowly. That is involvement. His expression did not change. It is both. That was the problem. Everything with him was both. Control and protection. Truth and omission. I shook my head slightly, trying to push through the confusion. Then tell me what you are risking by keeping me, I said. Because this does not feel one-sided. Silence. Then, he leaned back just slightly. Enough to create space again. Everything stays contained as long as you are unknown, he said. My brows pulled together. And if I am not? His gaze sharpened. Then you become leverage. My stomach dropped. That word again. Leverage. Not a person. Not a partner. A position. I exhaled slowly, tension building again. So I am either hidden, or used, I said. Those are my options. He did not correct me. That silence was louder than any answer. I looked away for a second, my thoughts racing again. Then, stop the car, I said. My voice came out sharper than I expected. The vehicle did not slow. Of course it did not. I turned back to him, frustration rising again. I am serious. His eyes stayed on me. Calm. Unmoved. No, that single word hit harder than it should have. You do not get to trap me in this, I snapped. I did not agree to become part of whatever this is. His voice dropped slightly. Colder now. You already are. That landed. Deep. Final. My chest tightened. Because he was right. Whether I agreed or not. I was already inside it. I clenched my jaw, forcing myself to stay steady. Then at least give me something real, I said. One thing that is not strategy. Not control. Not manipulation. Silence stretched between us. Long measured. Then, he reached into his jacket and pulled something out. A card. Black. Minimal. He held it out to me. I hesitated, then took it. My fingers tightened slightly as I looked down. My name. Printed clearly. But not my old one. Not the one that was being erased. A new identity. Clean. Untouched. My breath caught. What is this? I asked quietly. His answer came without hesitation. The version of you they cannot touch. My heart skipped. Because that meant one thing. He had already decided who I would become, before I ever agreed to it. He already created a version of me, and I never agreed to exist as her. I stared at the black card in my hand, my pulse uneven, my thoughts struggling to catch up. A new name. Clean. Untouched. Not Emily Carter. Not me. You replaced me, I said quietly. My voice did not sound like mine anymore. He did not deny it. I protected what they were trying to erase, he corrected. That hit wrong. I shook my head, my fingers tightening around the card. That is not protection, I said. That is rewriting me. Silence. Then, he leaned slightly closer. Not forcing. Not soft. Just there. You were already being rewritten, he said. My breath caught. That line landed hard. Because I had seen it. My accounts. My access. Gone. Someone else stepping into my place. My chest tightened. So your solution is to do the same thing? I asked. Just faster. His gaze did not shift. My solution is to give you something they cannot control. That word again. Control. Everything came back to it. I looked down at the card again. The name felt foreign. Wrong. And yet, it existed. Real. Solid. More real than anything I had left behind. And what happens to me? I asked quietly. The version of me that they are erasing? He did not answer right away. That silence again. Heavier this time. Then, she becomes unreachable, he said. My chest tightened. Unreachable. Not gone. Not exactly. But not accessible either. I swallowed hard, trying to steady myself. And this version? I lifted the card slightly. This one belongs to you? His eyes met mine. Direct. Unavoidable. No, he said. A pause. Then, lower. This one stays alive. My breath caught. Because that sounded less like a choice, and more like a line I had already crossed. I looked at him again, something sharper building under the confusion now. You said I could choose, I said. Whether I stay. His gaze did not move. Yes. I held up the card between us. Then this is not a choice, I said. My voice steadier now. This is you deciding who I have to be. Silence. Stretched. Then, he reached forward and closed my fingers around the card. Firm. Final. No, he said quietly. This is me making sure you still have someone left to be. My breath caught. Because that meant something I had not fully faced yet. The version of me I knew, might already be gone. And if that was true, then who exactly was I becoming now? If the version of me I knew was already gone, then maybe there was nothing left to hold on to. I stared at the card in my hand, my fingers tightening around it like I could feel the weight of everything I was losing. Emily Carter. Gone. Replaced. Erased. And in her place, someone Alexander had already decided I needed to become. I looked up at him, my chest tight, something sharp rising through the confusion now. You said this version stays alive, I said. My voice steadier than I felt. But that is not me. He did not look away. It is who you are now. That answer hit like a wall. Immediate. Final. I shook my head slowly, stepping back just enough to breathe again. No, I said. That is who you need me to be. Silence. Then, he leaned forward slightly. Not closing the space. Just enough to keep me from pulling away completely. It is who you need to survive, he said. That word again. Survive. Like everything else did not matter. My jaw tightened. You keep saying that like it is enough, I snapped. Like survival is the only thing that matters. His eyes darkened slightly. Right now, it is. That hit harder than I wanted it to. Because part of me knew he was right. I looked down at the card again, my reflection faint against the surface. Unfamiliar. Uncertain. Then I exhaled slowly and looked back at him. And after that? I asked. After I become this version you created? His gaze held mine. Then you decide who you want to be. My heart skipped. That is not how this works, I said. You do not erase someone and then offer them a choice after. Silence stretched between us. Then, he reached out again. Not for the card this time. For my wrist. His grip was firm. Not rough. But impossible to ignore. You are not erased, he said quietly. My breath caught. You are hidden. That sounded better. It should have. It did not. Because hidden still meant I was no longer visible. No longer real to the world I knew. I pulled my hand back slightly, not breaking his hold, just testing it. And if I do not want to be hidden? I asked. My voice dropped. Dangerous now. He did not let go. His eyes locked onto mine. Steady. Unmoving. Then you become the easiest way to destroy me. My breath caught. Because that was not about me anymore. That was about him. And suddenly, I understood something I had been missing this whole time. This was never just about protecting me. It was about protecting something tied to him, that I did not even know I had. If I refused to be hidden, I would become the weapon used against him. That truth settled in hard, leaving no space to breathe around it. I stared at Alexander, my pulse uneven, my thoughts finally starting to connect the pieces I had been missing. So this is not just about me, I said slowly. My voice felt steadier now. Sharper. This is about what happens to you if I stay visible. He did not deny it. That was enough. My chest tightened. Then why not just let me go? I asked. If I am the risk, why keep me close? Silence. Then, he finally let go of my wrist. The absence of his grip felt just as heavy as it had been. Because letting you go is the one move they want, he said. That landed differently. I frowned slightly. So either I stay hidden with you, or I become their leverage, I said. Those are still my only options. His gaze stayed on me. For now. I let out a slow breath, processing that. For now. Everything with him was temporary. Strategic. Controlled. I looked down at the card again, then back at him. You said I am connected to you in a way they cannot control, I said. And that is why they need me gone. He nodded once. Yes. My pulse picked up again. Then stop protecting me from it, I said. My voice lowered. More certain now. Tell me what that connection actually is. Silence stretched. Longer than before. He studied me like he was weighing something. Calculating risk. Then, not yet, he said. My chest tightened again. Frustration flared, sharp and immediate. You said no more. Half-truths. This is not a half-truth, he replied calmly. This is timing. That was worse. I shook my head slightly. You keep moving the line, I said. Every time I get closer to understanding, you push it back. His eyes darkened just slightly. Because you are not ready for what is on the other side of it. That hit harder than I expected. I stepped forward this time, closing the distance myself. You do not get to decide that, I said. Quiet. Firm. For a second, neither of us moved. Then, his phone buzzed again. Sharp. Urgent. He glanced down. And this time, there was no control in his expression. Just recognition. My stomach dropped instantly. What is it? I asked. He did not answer right away. That was the problem. Then, he turned the screen toward me. A live feed. My old office building. My name, still on the system. Still active. My breath caught. That is not possible, I whispered. He looked at me, his voice lower than before. They did not erase you, he said. A pause. Then, they replaced you faster than I anticipated. My heart stopped. Because if someone else was already living under my name, then I was not just hidden anymore. I was already gone. Someone else was already living under my name, and I was sitting here watching it happen in real time. My breath came shallow as I stared at the screen in Alexander's hand. The live feed did not glitch. It did not hesitate. It showed my office. My desk. My access badge being used. My name, Emily Carter, still active in the system. Just, not by me. That is not possible, I said again, but my voice had already lost its strength. Because I could see it. Someone walked through the security gate. Confident. Recognized. Accepted. Using my identity like it belonged to them. My chest tightened hard. They replaced me, I whispered. The words tasted wrong. Unreal. Alexander's voice came low, controlled. Faster than expected. That part hit. Because it meant even he did not fully control this. I tore my eyes away from the screen and looked at him. You said you were ahead of this, I said. My voice shook now. You said you were protecting me. His jaw tightened slightly. The first real crack I had seen in his control. I am, he said. You are not the one. Inside that building. That was not comfort. That was distance. I shook my head, stepping back slightly. That is still my life, I said. My job. My name. Everything I had. Silence. Then, he reached forward and took the tablet back from me. The screen went dark. Just like that. Gone. That version of your life is compromised, he said. Final. Clean. My chest felt tight, like something was closing in. You are telling me to just, let it go? I asked. His eyes held mine. Steady. Unmoving. I am telling you it is already gone. That hit harder than anything else. Because there was no fight left in that statement. No maybe. No hope. Just truth. I swallowed hard, trying to hold on to something. Anything. Then what do I do? I asked. My voice dropped. Barely there. For the first time. I was not pushing back. I was asking. He studied me for a second. Then, now you see why staying visible was never an option, he said. My fingers tightened slightly at my sides. Because I finally understood what he had been trying to show me. Too late. Too fast. And the person using my name? I asked. What happens to them? His gaze shifted. Not away. But darker. Colder. That depends, he said. My breath caught. On what? I asked. His eyes locked onto mine again. On whether they are just a replacement, a pause. Then, or the one who started all of this. My heart stopped. Because if the person wearing my identity was the one who set this in motion, then this was not just about taking my life. It was about rewriting it from the inside out. If the person using my name started all of this, then I was not just replaced. I was chosen. That realization settled deep, cold and sharp, as I stared at Alexander. You think it is her, I said slowly. My voice steadier now, even if my chest was not. The one using my identity. He did not answer right away. That pause told me enough. It is a possibility, he said. Controlled. Careful. I shook my head slightly. No, I said. You do not look at possibilities like that. You already have a direction. His eyes flicked to me. Brief. Sharp. And you are starting to see it. That was not confirmation. But it was not denial either. My pulse picked up again. Then tell me, I pressed. Is it Megan? The name felt heavier now. Different. Not just betrayal. Something worse. He studied me for a second. Measuring. Then, she had access, he said. She had proximity. And she moved before anyone else could. My stomach dropped. That was not proof. But it was enough to feel real. Too real. I looked away for a second, trying to process it. She called me, I said quietly. Right before everything escalated. My voice tightened. She sounded normal. That is why she worked, he replied. That hit hard. Because it meant this was not random. Not emotional. Planned. Precise. I exhaled slowly, forcing myself to stay steady. So what now? I asked. You find her? You confront her? His expression shifted slightly. Not softer. More focused. No, he said. That surprised me. I turned back to him. No. He shook his head once. We let her continue. My breath caught. You are letting her use my identity? I snapped. You are letting her walk around as me? His voice dropped. Colder. I am letting her believe she is winning. Silence hit hard between us. Because that was not passive. That was strategy. Dangerous strategy. I clenched my jaw. And what does that make me? I asked. While she is out there being me? His gaze locked onto mine. Steady. Unavoidable. The version she cannot predict. My heart skipped. Because that meant one thing. I was no longer the victim in this. I was part of the countermove. And if he was right, then the next step was not about hiding anymore. It was about stepping back into a game I did not even know how to play. If I was no longer the victim, then I had to decide whether I was ready to become part of his game. I looked at Alexander, my pulse still uneven, but something inside me had shifted. Fear was still there. But it was no longer in control. You want me to step back in, I said slowly. Not as me, but as something they cannot predict. He nodded once. Yes. That answer landed differently now. Not like a trap. Like an invitation into something dangerous and deliberate. I exhaled slowly, thinking it through. And what happens when she realizes I am still out here? I asked. His eyes sharpened slightly. Then she makes a mistake. I frowned. And that is what you are waiting for? That is what ends this, he said. Final. Certain. I held his gaze, searching for hesitation. There was none. That was what made it real. I looked down at the card again. The new name. The new identity. Then back at him. You are asking me to play a role, I said. While someone else plays me. I am asking you to survive long enough to take your life back, he corrected. That line hit deeper than anything else. Because for the first time, it sounded like I might actually get it back. Not just survive. Reclaim. I swallowed, tension building again. And if I do this, I said, my voice lower now, steadier, I am not just hiding anymore. He shook his head. No, a pause. Then, you become part of the move they did not see coming. My heart skipped. Hard. Because that meant stepping forward. Not back. I nodded slowly. Not fully agreeing yet. But not walking away either. Then I need to know the rules, I said. If I am part of this, I do not stay blind. His gaze held mine. Measuring again. Then, he reached into the console and pulled out another file. Thicker. More detailed. He placed it in my hands. Then start here, he said. I hesitated for a second, then opened it. Photos. Records. Transactions. All tied to my name. My identity. But not mine. My breath caught. Because the face looking back at me was familiar. Too familiar. My chest tightened instantly. That is not, I stopped. Because it was. Megan. Using my name. Living my life. I looked up at him sharply. She is not just replacing me, I said. My voice dropped. She is rewriting everything I was. His expression did not change. Yes. Silence hit hard between us. Because that meant one thing. This was not just about exposing her. It was about confronting someone who knew me well enough to become me. And suddenly, the question was no longer whether I was ready to step into this. It was, what happens when I come face to face with the person who already took my place? I was about to come face to face with the person who stole my life, and the worst part was, she knew exactly how to be me. I stared at Megan's photo in the file, my chest tight, my thoughts sharp now instead of scattered. She knows everything, I said quietly. My habits. My voice. The way I think. Alexander did not interrupt. That meant he agreed. I exhaled slowly, forcing myself to stay steady. Then I cannot act like myself, I continued. Not even a little. His eyes flicked to me. Correct. That word hit, but it grounded me. This was not emotional anymore. It was tactical. I nodded once, thinking fast. If she expects me to react, I do the opposite, I said. If she expects me to hide, I step forward. His gaze sharpened slightly. Careful, he said. Unpredictable does not mean reckless. I met his eyes. It means controlled deviation, I replied. For the first time, something shifted in his expression. Not softer. Not warmer. But, acknowledgement. Good, he said. My pulse steadied slightly. Because now I was inside it. Not dragged. Not forced. Choosing. I looked back at the file, flipping through more pages. Patterns. Access logs. Movement timelines. She is not just pretending to be me, I said. She is improving the version of me people remember. That realization hit harder than anything else. Because it meant she was not just replacing me. She was becoming a better version of me. I looked up sharply. That makes her harder to expose, I said. People will not question an upgrade. Alexander nodded once. Exactly. Silence stretched for a second. Then I closed the file. Firm. Decided. Then we do not expose her immediately, I said. His gaze locked onto mine. We destabilize her first. My heart was beating faster now. Not from fear. From focus. We force her to make a mistake she cannot correct, I continued. Something that proves she is not me. He watched me carefully. Measuring every word. And how do you plan to do that? He asked. I held his gaze. Steady now. Certain. By giving her something she thinks only I would know how to handle, I said. A pause. Then, and watching her fail. Silence hit hard between us. Because that was not defense anymore. That was a move. His eyes darkened slightly. That will draw her out, he said. Not a question. A statement. I nodded once. That is the point. My chest rose and fell slowly, controlled now. Because I finally understood my role in this. Not hidden. Not erased. Positioned. I looked at him one last time. So tell me, I said quietly. What is the one thing she cannot fake? He held my gaze. And this time, he did not hesitate. Your connection to me. My breath caught. Because that was not strategy anymore. That was personal. And if that was the one thing she could not replicate, then stepping into this plan meant exposing something I still did not fully understand. My connection to him, that was the one thing she could not fake, and suddenly I understood why he had been hiding it from me. I stared at Alexander, my pulse uneven again, but not from fear this time. From realization. That is why you would not tell me, I said quietly. Because the moment I know, it becomes visible. He did not deny it. His silence confirmed everything. My chest tightened. Then we use it, I said. My voice steadier now. More certain. Not all of it. Just enough to draw her out. His gaze sharpened. That is a risk. Everything about this is a risk, I shot back. But this is the only thing she cannot replicate. Silence stretched. Then, he nodded once. Decision made. Then we control where and how it appears, he said. My heart picked up slightly. This was it. The move. I leaned forward slightly. We create a situation where she has to respond as me, I said. Public enough that she cannot ignore it, but controlled enough that we can watch her reaction. He studied me carefully. And what forces that response? He asked. I held his gaze. You. That landed. Because we both knew what that meant. My chest tightened, but I did not look away. If I am the only one with a real connection to you, then you are the trigger she cannot handle. His eyes darkened slightly. Not resistance. Recognition. You are putting yourself in direct exposure, he said. So are you, I replied. Silence hit hard between us. Because this was no longer strategy on paper. This was execution. I exhaled slowly. We set a meeting, I continued. Something tied to me. My role. My access. Something she cannot ignore without raising suspicion. He nodded once. And when she shows up. My voice dropped. Colder now. Focused. We watch for the moment she cannot respond like me. A pause. Then, and. We take everything back. Silence settled in the car. Heavy. Final. Because that was the endgame. Not hiding. Not surviving. Reclaiming. I looked at him one last time. So tell me, I said quietly. What kind of connection are we about to show her? He held my gaze. And this time, there was no distance left. The kind she cannot survive being exposed to, he said. My breath caught. Because whatever that connection was, it was not just leverage. It was something powerful enough to break her completely. The moment I saw her wearing my name, I knew exactly how this would end. The room was quiet. Glass walls. Clean lines. Corporate neutral. The kind of place where nothing personal was supposed to happen. And yet, everything about this was personal. She stood across the table. Confident. Composed. Perfect. Emily Carter. My name. My posture. My voice. Almost flawless. Almost. You are late, she said, calm and familiar. My chest tightened. Hearing myself, from someone else. I stepped forward anyway. Slow. Controlled. You adjusted my schedule, I replied. My voice steady. I wanted to see how you would handle it. A flicker. Small. But there. Her eyes sharpened for half a second. Then smoothed again. You always test people, she said. It is part of your process. Good answer. Practiced. Learned. Not lived. I tilted my head slightly. Then you know what I do next. Silence. Just long enough to matter. She hesitated. Not in words. In timing. And that was it. That was the crack. I stepped closer. Closing the space she thought she controlled. You hesitate when you're calculating, I said quietly. I do not. Her composure tightened. Barely. But I saw it. Because I knew it. Alexander moved beside me. Not in front. Not behind. Beside. That shift changed everything. The air in the room shifted instantly. She noticed. Of course she did. Her eyes flicked between us. Measuring. Recalculating. And then, she understood. Not fully. But enough. You brought him, she said. My name in her voice. But not my tone. Not my claim. I did not look at her. I looked at him. Then back at her. No, I said. My voice dropped. Final. He chose me. Silence broke. Not loud. But absolute. Because that was the one thing she could not replicate. Not the access. Not the behavior. Not the identity. The choice. His choice. Her mask slipped. Just for a second. But it was enough. You were never supposed to matter, she said. And there it was. The truth. Clean. Exposed. I exhaled slowly. The weight finally lifting. That was your mistake, I replied. Security stepped in behind her. Quiet. Controlled. No chaos. No spectacle. Just removal. Just correction. She looked at me one last time. Not as me. Not anymore. As herself. And then she was gone. Just like that. Silence settled in the room. Real this time. I stood there, my chest finally steady. My name. My life. Mine again. But different. I turned to Alexander slowly. So what happens now? I asked. He looked at me. Not calculating. Not distant. Just present. Now you decide who you want to be, he said. I let that settle. Then I took a breath. Steady. Certain. Then I am not going back, I said. Not to who I was. His gaze held mine. Good. A pause. Then, because neither am I. My heart skipped once. Not from fear. Not from confusion. Something else. Something calm. I looked at the space where everything ended, and something new began. Then where do we go? I asked. His answer came without hesitation. Forward. And this time, I chose to follow.